Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning. In a previous video, I took you guys along to a public auto auction. Huge day, a lot of cars, 637 cars, and we went through and I pointed out the most reliable, safe to buy used vehicle on that lot, on that particular day. And I gave you a diverse selection of different years, makes, and models. And hey, I practice what I preach. I don't go there, show you those cars, and then come home with a Chevy Traverse. I bought one of those that were on the list that we reviewed that day, and I'm going to show it to you and tell you why it's one of the safest minivans out there to purchase as a used car, one of the most reliable. We'll see what's wrong with this one. I'll show you exactly how much I paid for it. We got a great deal on it. The mileage, some of the issues inside and out, some of the mechanical issues if there are any. So let's get started with the video. As the shop manager does her thing, chilling while Daddy does the videos, that's all right. We'll take a closer look at, this is a 2011 Honda Odyssey. This is obviously a minivan. And we picked this one up to replace the Kia, which is outside waiting its turn to get picked up. That has been sold. We did do very well. That's going to be a video on its own, but we needed to replace that. I wanted something a little bit more comfortable, a little bit newer, and even more reliable. Kias are okay. They're so-so. When it comes to reliability, it's a 50-50 toss-up. As with all vehicles, guys, maintenance is going to be very, very important. We're going to go over that today. We're going to go over some issues, small ones, that this has. We got it for a great price. But there is some things we need to do, including some preventive maintenance on our own to, really fight any future issues that we could have with this. And I'm going to go over those issues with you. It's not a perfect vehicle. There is no perfect vehicle. Every single vehicle, everything with wheels out there has some sort of an issue to deal with. Some just less than others. Some just issues that cost less to repair than others. The 2011, and I believe that goes through to the 2015 Honda Odyssey, that will feature a 3.5-liter V6, and that produces 248 horsepower paired with a 5-speed, or depending what trim you have, it could be a 6-speed automatic transmission as well. And depending on the transmission, that's going to depend on the fuel mileage you get, but it varies. It's a small difference, so really don't worry about it. But you're looking at about an excellent 28 miles per gallon. My friends, this drivetrain is excellent, especially if it is maintained. And when I bring them home, the very, very first thing I do, even if there's a sticker on the windshield that shows that this thing has been serviced, is I drop that oil and put fresh oil, excellent full synthetic, plus the filter of my choice, which is going to be a top-notch filter. And then we go from there. Depending on the transmission fluid and the issues that a vehicle has, the next thing I'm going to do before I even take it out for a ride is flush or service or drain and fill or do a full service with gasket and filter on the transmission depending on the year, make, and model and what it calls for. So with the 2011, there are 3 issues. One that could be major if you let it go, and 2 other minor ones. So the one that could be major if you are not one that's great with maintenance is the transmission. The 3.6 liter, or the V6 engine in here is practically bulletproof if you just change the oil every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. When it comes to the transmission, you're going to be fine if you maintain it. Now they do have filters for the transmission that are lifetime filters, and that's that's malarkey. You need to change those out. And there is also a drain plug and a fill cap so you can drain the fluid. I recommend every 20 to 30,000 miles. On something like this, I do it every 20,000 miles and then change the oil every 3,000 miles, and you're going to be perfectly fine. But if there is a weak point in the drivetrain, it's going to be the automatic transmission if it's not taken care of and serviced. Another issue these have is sometimes an unexplained draw on the battery, not knowing where it comes from. Now, a couple of these on the lot, and on the day when we picked this up, there were 14 of, I was looking at the Honda Odyssey, I was also looking at the Toyota Sienna. And between the two, which are both excellent, if you have either one, you are in great hands. But between the two, there were 14, 15 vans there. So it was a chore just checking all these out. It took all morning. I'm going to say a good 50% of them, the batteries were dead, and it was in the Honda Odysseys. Now the problem is, well, there could be a few things. There's a lot of electronic components that can put a draw on these batteries. I find if you keep your headlight switch on automatic, because it's such a delay on it to keep everything on until you walk away and give you light, it really drains down the battery, especially if you're having a problem with an alternator. There are other things that could be accidentally left on and other things that really drain the battery. All I had to do, I put a new battery in this one, and I did that in the parking lot before we even came home because I didn't want issues of stopping for fuel and forgetting that I had a battery issue, turning it off and not being able to start it, especially if I didn't know how a charge from this alternator was going to go. So I replaced the battery in the parking lot, and then when I get out, I turn everything off manually. Make sure there's nothing on, nothing automatic that's left on, no automatic switches, especially with the lights. And it has been perfectly fine. It turns over incredible, and it's been great. The third issue is the automatic sliding doors on the driver's side and passenger side. Both of these work. I checked them out. Some on the lot had issues, and I'll explain as we take a closer look what can happen and what you can do to prevent issues with those sliding doors in the future. And if not this video, maybe the next video when we take care of the other issues, I'll show you how you can service those automatic or motorized doors so you don't have an issue. Once you press the button, they open up nice and smooth, they close. The issue can rear its head when you don't maintain the track. Maintaining the track is crazy incredible because it takes stress off of the cables and the motor that opens and closes the door. We'll get into those in another video. But those are the three issues with the Honda Odyssey. I was also, again, looking at the Toyota Siennas, and some say they're even more dependable than the Odysseys. I think they're about the same depending on what you prefer, but I love both of them. Let's just get that out of the way. I picked this one up, incredible deal. Let's go over what the deal was, the mileage, and some issues that come with this buy. So this particular Odyssey was $3,000. I won the bid for that. And now you have to keep in mind, guys, there's fees at the auction. Just because you win it at a great price doesn't mean that's the end of it. You have to pay fees depending, that's a percentage of what you pay for it. You also have to pay tax and tags. This one here did not have a check engine light. No issues whatsoever. It doesn't get hot. Somebody even had the fuel at 3/4. I filled it up. But at 162,000 miles, that was another reason the price was so reasonable. There are some small issues to take care of. Oh, radio works. I have everything going. The AC gets ice cold. Some of the features, I have all my gadgets hooked up here. Some really cool features. This has an ice box. So you hit the button, put your favorite drinks in there. You can fit about 4 16 ounces in there. Hit that button, and it will keep it chilled for you for your road trips. Again, no lights on the dash. Purrs like a kitten. Nice and quiet. No smoke, no steam coming out of the tailpipe. You always want to look for that to make sure there's no head gasket issues. When you crawl under the vehicle at the auctions, You want to look for leaks, any spotting where it was parked that's fresh, any leaks on the transmission pan or the oil pan, or if you have a four-wheel drive, the transfer case or front and rear diff, no issues there. You can't drive these at an auto auction, guys, but you can go forward and back and test the brakes, make sure everything works. You just have to take a gamble as to if the vehicle shifts properly and comes to a full stop at full speed. So those are just some small gambles you got to take, and that's just the way it is, because you can't take them for a ride. There's no insurance for that on their lot. So this one's in, I'm going to say, average shape or good shape. The interior's in decent shape. Everything works. I tested it out, all the positions on the seat, all of the switches, all of the buttons, the air conditioning, tested if it works up here at the vents for the windshield, the ones that blow right at you, the ones down below. You want to make sure all the actuators work on the HVAC system for vehicles, guys, because if they don't, yeah, the actuators are normally only $38 to $48, sometimes $50, but it's getting to them. Sometimes you have to actually tear the dash apart, and that can cause, it costs thousands of dollars when that repair comes because of labor. So everything worked, and that includes, guys, an issue that this has on both sides here, and that's these sliding doors. Now, there are three ways to open this door, and they all work, and that I always test. The first one is holding the button here, and that works perfectly fine. The second one is a button right here. That works, so you can close it. Nice and smooth, they both work great. I'm going to service them, and I'll show you how. Another button right here, and that also opens the back hatch there. So while it's open, I'll show you that with, hauling the shop manager around, I normally take this seat out, I keep that one in for a third passenger, and then I fold those down so she can crawl in, and minivans are lower and easier on older dogs to get up in compared to passenger vehicles, four-wheel drives and higher vehicles. She just hops right up with not much help and gets up and has all of that space back there, can look out of all the windows. We have vents for the air conditioning blowing down on her when she needs them. There's some back there as well. And it's just, a minivan is a great vehicle if you have pets, if you take your dogs along. As mentioned, there is a cooler down there for your drinks. You have an incredible sound system. It has a equalizer so you can adjust the sound as well. Air conditioner, ice cold, and multiple zones back through there that you can adjust. There is power, everything, heated seats, steering wheel. The leather seats are in excellent condition, all of them, even the armrests. The only issue where you could see wear and tear on this vehicle are these, and these are known to fail on the Honda Odysseys. And what it is, it's a piece that's attached to your door panel. So if you remove a screw there and under here and then clips all the way around, you pop that back. And then this section here is held on by a couple screws here, 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 there, 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 there. This pops off and you can replace it. But what happens from grabbing this and closing the door is it pulls away this material. And there's already been a repair, and I guess that works for the time being. I'm going to go ahead and order those pieces. I'll order brand new ones. There's a repair here as well. Again, that works for now, but I'm going to replace both sides. Other than that, you can't tell that there's been a whole lot of wear and tear. As you can see, this door over here works as well. And everything is in great shape. When it comes to sliding doors on any van, any minivan, you have to keep in mind that these things run on a track. And it's multiple tracks. So there's one, and you can see right there, it runs on a track. Here it runs on the track, and the actual cable that pulls the door is right there as well. So you need to be mindful of that. And then there's always a track down below as well. You need to keep them clean as often as you can. Clean them and lube them. And I'll show you how to do that. Now, here, let me close this up. But you can see and get to areas with the door open. You also will need to take this piece off here, which there's a screw inside right there, and then there's 2 screws right here, and this piece will pop off, and that will reveal the main track and the cable that these ride on, and you can get to them and clean them and lubricate them properly. And you should do that on both sides as often as you can, and you won't have an issue. It takes the load off of the motors, it takes a load off of the cables, and it'll keep you from having a huge headache. Sometimes when these cables snap, not just on this but others, the door will open, cable snaps or comes out of place, and then scratches the absolute hell out of these panels here until you get it fixed. Some issues, small ones, we need to take care of that are some cosmetic as well. This one here, we're going to take a little bit more time and get rid of the scratches and swirls and make the gorgeous color look really, really nice and shiny. We're going to get it protected. This color is called a smoky topaz with the truffle interior. We're going to get that paint looking incredible, and we're going to protect it. Now, this is a tier above some of the red line vehicles that I buy, and I only use 3D speed on them, like the Honda Pilot and the Range Rover and the pickup truck and the Kia. This one here is maybe a small step above that, a tier above it. And we're going to go a little bit further just because it's worth a little bit more, and you should put more time into it to preserve that value if you can. But just for personal taste, I'm going to be driving this every day and piling miles on, and I want it to look incredible. And you can see what this cost new, 2011. In today's dollar amount, 2025, it would probably be about $55,000. Over on the front passenger side, there was a mishap at the front bumper, and these are connected by plastic clips. And I'm pretty sure I can connect it again, do a little bit of touch-up and polishing, and it'll really hide a lot of that. Somebody'd have to be searching for it to look at it. And a very light tap over here. I'm going to be able to do some touch-up polishing. I'll show you how to do that. On the door here, we have a scratch, and it caused a little bit of a dent throughout some of that. PDR is going to be able to take care of that and remove it, completely. I'm going to show you how to remove that deep scratch where you can barely see it, where it's barely going to be noticeable. We're going to make huge improvements there. Now, this has been painted in some spots. So the way you could see that is these fish eyes. See these little divots here and there? A lot of that was improper reducer. Some of it was moisture or oil in the air lines of whoever was spraying this. Maybe they had a small compressor that wasn't set up for painting. There are a couple reasons that could have happened, but those are the two main issues. And other ways, you can see it's a little bit different texture than this here. It's a little bit different sheen than that, so you can always tell areas that have been replaced. I'm going to get my paint depth gauge, and we'll go around here and we'll see exactly which panels have been resprayed, and a couple have been. So there has been some issues here. Nothing major, just light taps, light scrapes. Here we have very dull, and that's, I believe this panel has been repainted as well, but scratched and dull. And pretty much the whole paint is dull. I'm going to show you how to bring this color out and make it really shine and look like a mirror. Other than that, not too bad, not too much to do, but there's a lot of real estate on this vehicle to test out tools and products when it comes to the detailing industry. And that is a huge part of what this channel is all about. The one rare part is I don't have to I don't have to do anything with the headlights. Normally, every single thing I buy has cloudy headlights and I need to restore them. So what I'm going to do is polish them up really good and protect them with paint protection film, and I'll never have to worry about it. In a few days, I do have appointments to get, it does need tires. Not only are the edges here worn and it needs alignment with that, there's a chunk here, and it looks like these are 2019, so it's time to get them replaced. The back isn't too bad, but I'm going to get all four to match. It's important, not so much in just a front-wheel drive or strictly rear-wheel drive, but if you have all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, you want those tires to be exactly the same size, same tread wear. It's a lot less wear and tear on the transfer case and front and rear diff. So I do want to get you guys out and take you for a test drive and see how this thing rides along. Make sure no other safety issues when we're driving down the road. When we stop on the brakes, does it pull to the left or right? Does it shake the steering wheel? Does it vibrate? That can mean worn rotors. That can mean brake issues. Also, we want to make sure that the thing is tracking straight down the road. So is it pulling the vehicle to the left or right where we need a front end alignment, which I can already see that we do? Is it shaking the vehicle? That can sometimes mean alignment and tires, issues with the suspension. Do we hear rattling as we go over bumps? Is it solid? Now, I did drop the oil. That's always the first thing I do, and put my filter. Another thing we're going to do because of the transmission slight issues that they have is we're going to do a drain and fill. You could do a drain and fill, or you can do a flush and then also add the filter to that as well. It's an external canister filter. That's easy to swap out. What we want to do right now is we want to drain what's in here and take a look at it. And I have some fresh stuff on the table ready to go in. We'll drive that 100 miles, 50 miles, or 100 miles or so, and we'll drain that as well. Because when you do a drain and fill, you're not getting all of it. There's about 5 to 7 quarts in here. You're only going to get 3 to 4 out doing a drain and fill. And I don't have a machine to flush, and I do things myself, so I'm not sending it off to anybody else. So what we're going to do is get some fresh stuff in there, and then 50, 100 miles, we'll drain it again. I'll do the external filter, and we will be good to go for about 20,000 miles. Every 20,000 miles is going to be where I do a drain and fill. And if I have a filter nearby, I'm going to throw it on. I do have everything we need. I already dropped the oil and filter from the engine. It's time to pay some attention to the transmission. I'm going to pull the dipstick and take a look. What I want to see is there any signs that this thing has been serviced in the 160,000 miles it has on it? It's not crazy bad. It has a red tinge to it, so I believe it has been serviced at least once. The refill plug is at a goofy place here. I'm going to try to get the light and get you, see that bolt down there with the greenish bluish paint on the top? That is the refill plug, and we need to see if that could be removed first before we do anything else. You don't want to drain the transmission fluid and then not be able to fill it. And I have my Valvoline, which is the same as the Honda brand. Honda doesn't make their own fluid, so somebody has to, and Valvoline is just as good. This is what it comes out to for the 4 quarts. So it takes a 17 mil to crack open that top refill plug, and from what I remember, these are tight, and if it hasn't been serviced in a long, long time, you're going to have to crack that thing loose, get it open, use the extension, get a little bit of leverage, and put some oomph into it. And this refill plug was not cracked open in quite some time. It took a breaker board to assist me, then I can switch back over to the ratchet if I need to. But barely, once you have that cracked loose slightly, you could just take the rest out by hand. We have the drain plug right underneath About 1.5 feet away from the drain plug for the motor oil, you just plug in a 1/4-inch ratchet and break that loose. So let's slide in our pans, our catch pans. There is no oil pan on these, it's just a case, and there's no filter right inside the oil pan. It's an external cartridge filter. I'll show you where that is later. And what's nice about this drain plug, it has an extension that's magnetic, so it will hold on to metal shavings and you can inspect later and clean it off. The fluid's dark, so if I combine that with the information of how tight the plugs were, this probably hasn't been drained or changed or serviced, the transmission anyway, in 100,000 miles or plus, if ever. So a filter along with this is just a necessity. It's going to be done. But first I'm going to drain it and we'll run it. And we'll just keep doing that until we get nice, fresh looking fluid, and then we'll get the filter on there. And then we're going to be good for 20,000 mile intervals. I'm going to clean this off. This is probably normal for 100 or 120 or whatever. Just incredible mileage that has been piled up on this. Nothing really concerning. Going to inspect the fluid in the pan as well, and go from there. Yes, it is very dirty. Lots of shavings on this plug. You are correct. Nothing crazy concerning as of yet, so let me get the drain plug back in there, fill it up, and we'll go through the gears, check the fluid, make sure it's full, and then run it good for a little bit. There's about 1 foot from all of the plastic trim and pieces and parts at the top of the engine to where the fill plug is on the top of the casing of the transmission. You're going to have to get a funnel that's about 1 foot, 1.5 feet to cover that space and get the fluid back in without spilling the hell all over the place. You're going to be able to get about 3 to 4 quarts out of it that you'll have to fill up again out of the 5 to 7 quarts that are in this transmission. We're going to get that done and put the cap back on top after putting new crush washers on both the drain plug and the fill plug. And they will be torqued down to spec, and then we can run through the gears and work that fresh transmission through there. Check to make sure we have the right level, and then we can run the vehicle and start to flush some of that older crap back out of there where we can drain it out and then add a nice new filter. All right, we have everything buttoned up. I had it started, I went through the gears, I looked under there, no drips, no leaks whatsoever. Everything is nice and sealed up. So let's take this out for a ride and see how it does. Again, she starts up, no lights on the dash, didn't have any from the beginning. 162,434 is our mileage that's clocked in as we take ownership. We have a full tank of fuel. Let's take it out for a drive, see how it shifts, see how it steers, see how it brakes. Nice, smooth shifts all the way through, no problems with the transmission, no shuddering, no stuttering, no hard shifts, no cracking, no banging, no problem with the transmission. The engine's quiet, no knocks. Riding down the street, straight as an arrow. Steering wheel's not shaking. Doesn't pull to the left or the right. We're going to have a stop up here very soon where we can hit the hooks, jam on the brakes, and make sure that we have no braking issues. It's a real smooth ride so far, and I have something that I've just been driving, the Kia Sedona, which is a minivan as well, which I can compare it to, and we'll compare the two as we take it for a drive here. First, let's pull into the lot here, and I'll be able to hit the hooks here, hit the brakes. Okay, it's not shaking the steering wheel. We have good braking. The pedal's not spongy. We have a nice, firm pedal to it. No issues with the braking whatsoever. I like to go through the parking lot of this shopping center because the parking lot's in ragged shape and it's real bumpy. And I get to go through and I'm quiet and I turn everything down so I can listen to if there's any clonking, sway bars, control arms, bushings, anything that would need to be inspected and possibly replaced when it comes to the suspension, shocks. I'm going to crawl under there, make sure the shocks aren't blown out. And there's no signs of that so far. It's nice and smooth. So let's get to the ride. And the overall driving experience, the experience in the cockpit here, and I can compare this to one I was just driving, and that is the Kia Sedona. So this one feels like a heftier vehicle. It feels heavier. You can feel that going around turns. Because of that heftiness, you feel a little bit safer. It absorbs bumps better. The ride is so much better. The ride is more sophisticated than the Kia for sure. The overall experience in the cockpit, just because of the material being a little bit higher quality in the cockpit, and you can be in here for longer periods of time, meaning taking it for either a business trip of 6 to 8 hours or taking it on vacation, 6 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours to the beach, and you wouldn't have any problems whatsoever. All of the features, so this had more features than the Toyota Sienna. My son really liked the cooler under the dash here that keeps your drinks cool. Something that simple doesn't bother me. I don't care either way, but there are just a lot more power points, power outlets for all your contraptions. Like I like to take my Carpio ride everywhere I go. Areas I can mount the phone and plug that in and keep that charging. Areas where my son, whoever I have with, can charge whatever devices they have. The multiple zone climate control is huge. It is, it's not driver centric where everything is pointed towards the driver. The passenger has a view and has a nice reach of controls if they want to change some things as well. A very nice sounding system. The AC gets ice cold. I have a little thing here where I can flip it down and keep an eye on the shop manager back there, where she is, what she's doing, or if I have passengers. We have a sunroof right here that tilts up, comes back and opens up completely, or I can get rid of the sun altogether to keep it cooler in here. I will be getting the windows tinted is going to be obviously. But we are now back at the shop, and just a good 2 rungs on the ladder above the Kia Sedona when it comes to quality of vehicle and quality of ride. That's going to do it for this video. We have more videos. We're going to try and straighten out the front bumper where it connects there at the fender. I'm going to show you how to remove that long 3 or 4 foot deep scratch on the door, scratches and swirls in other places to straighten out. And I'll show you what gets this kind of pewter looking metallic color really stand out and pop and look glossy as hell or dripping wet, and many more videos to come. Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning. I'll catch you in the next video. Hey, don't forget, if you're enjoying the videos and they help in any way, consider subscribing. A lot of the viewers aren't subscribed. Hit the notification bell. If you think they're educational, share the videos. You could share them on forums, in groups, and help the channel to grow. If the channel grows, we can grow our content and quality as well, if that makes sense. It's always a pleasure spending a few minutes with you guys out of the day, and I'll catch you in the next video.